Hey, Divine Leader, welcome to this episode on the return to radiance. I'm here with longtime client, colleague, friend, Terri Gervais, who is the author of The Return to Radiance, the Restorative Superpowers of Diamond Grace. Welcome, Terri. So excited you're here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here and to have this conversation with you today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I wanted to really dive into a topic that I know I'm really a stand for and you're a stand for, which is really the heart and soul of your book, which is about the return to radiance and being spiritual leaders that are also radiant. So when I look at the evolution in consciousness, there really is this shift from kind of being depleted or over busy or cranky or whatever to being radiant, having impeccable self-care, being on mission. So as we're starting out here, what would you share just a little bit about radiance and that topic for you? And I know later on in the episode we'll bring in Diamond Grace and the council and really share more about it. But what would you share about radiance as we're really getting started?
I think radiance begins with taking care of yourself from the inside out and really showing your body that you respect it and you appreciate that it's a vessel for your soul to have a experience of life on earth. And once you allow that your soul to know that you are here fully, full out, to just live, be, do, and have, that soul will begin to anchor into your heart and just express its light out. And with that comes a whole truckload of other divine gifts and talents and health, wealth, all of the above.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And so let's go into a little bit of our journey together because we've been partnering together. I don't even know if it was 2015 or 2000 for a while. And I know that your journey with birthing your opus level body of work and really reclaiming your superpowers and bringing forward this Diamond Grace and the book has also been a journey of your own return to radiance. So would you share a little bit about kind of where you were and where you are now? And especially, I feel like the thread of radiance is important in this message because you're someone who also really birthed your body of work and brought it forward, even though there were different perceived obstacles that I think a lot of us can come up against, like a lack of time or whatever those kinds of things are. So how would you share kind of your journey of us working together and where you were and where you are now, the highlights?
The highlights. So I had a business for 20 years in like the 3D world. And when I sold that, I knew I wanted to do a continuing education, but I knew that it wasn't the conventional way. And I found Thoth through you, and that just seemed to be the ongoing education that really resonated for me. And in that, I learned just so much about embodying your true divine self. And when I started with you, I could barely write an email that made any kind of sense. And it took forever to, accumulate the words and make it the grammar work, all of that. And with all the different programs and offerings that you and Thoth have brought forth and that I've fully immersed in, just brought me through all of those self-doubt and just really helped to amplify the innate intuition and knowledge that's already held within.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was able to scribe and listening to source speaking and writing down those words, transitioning to being able to transmit those words verbally, and doing it now with ease and grace, and it's fun. I mean, it's it's kind of natural. It doesn't seem strange anymore. I'm not afraid. It's just really easy to work with a client that I've never met. And, I don't need any background. I just know, go and trust. Just trust that my divine connection is there 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there really is this maturation or the development of what you shared that was already innately within you that ripened and accelerated. And, I know that when we are on a mission to really be of service, which you are, there can be those kind of whack-a-mole obstacles that come up where there can be I don't have enough time, or how is it that I can be connected and spending time with my beloved husband and really also staying focused and moving forward with the project. So I know that you have come up against some of those common reasons that I see folks stopping when it comes to developing their body of work and their book. So would you be open to sharing some of those, and then also what really just kept you focused and moving through?
My biggest obstacles is time, as probably anyone else. And my husband and I entertain a lot, and we have a lot of guests that stay with us. We have a lot of social engagements, and for me to just take a day to scribe or work on my book just seems a little bit daunting, to kind of jump from one aspect of your life to being in this spiritual realm sometimes takes a little adjustment for my brain to get that, and to just tell the people around you, I'm shutting the door. This is a quiet zone, give me that time and space. And that's not always easy. But what's worked for me is partnering with you and or some other people in the spiritual community, and just making an appointment and just sitting down and just immersing yourself 100% for 20 minutes, for an hour, whatever that is. And, very specifically, Danielle, you and I partnered for 3 months, and we met once a week and just got all the content through. And now I'm doing the same thing in the editing process. And it's just, it comes in so easeful and joy. It's like enjoyable. It's and so productive. So very productive in such a juicy short time.
Yeah. And that really busts through the illusion lie of like, oh, I have to go on sabbatical to get my book done, or, my kids need to be off in college, or whatever those kinds of things are, to have a very bountiful and rich and multidimensional life, and that this is also a part of it. So, I know that one of the messages of Diamond Grace, and also what I feel like I've seen you embody, is that impeccable self-care and prioritizing your mission, and not only saying like, okay, I'm going to set aside the time, yet also doing it. And I think that's a really beautiful example of how, and that's probably what I'm tuning into, is like, especially during that 3-month period where we were partnering together as you were downloading the content for Diamond Grace. It's like you did have guests for months at a time, and really just having the dynamic of partnership. And I love that you shared that it was really fun and ease-filled and joyous, because that's also a part of the new paradigm of mission and business, and that dynamic of divine partnership, that it's not just you in a room. There's the co-creation with the guides. There's the co-creation with me, or as you're partnering with somebody else, because it really is a team sport. I feel like for all of us to have a multidimensional self-care panel, in body and out of body, to then be having that dynamic in a way that it's not just like, okay, I've got to sit down and write this book and use that, what I perceive as some of the outdated old paradigm writing ways, but that it can be really, really fun and juicy.
Yeah, I find, I call it work. And it's not the 4-letter word work that work used to be. It's like, what did you do all day? I'm like, oh, I worked. And I just it's just an exciting way of expressing your true divine purpose in whatever way that is for you, for anyone specifically. But for right now, my work, my joyful 4-letter word is creating the messages that want to come through, bringing the messages forth on paper or digital words and vibrations and frequencies that my team in light wants to share with the world. And that's pretty spectacular.
Yes. Well, speaking of which, it feels like it would be a fun time to bring in the teams. And before doing that, I just really want to encourage each of you that is tuning in here to grab the book, The Return to Radiance by Terri Gervais, and we'll have the link in the show notes. It's phenomenal. I really have, in this new paradigm, there's also the evolution in consciousness to recognize that we're partnering. And so there's a simultaneity of gifting and receiving and having. And so I know that I've personally received so much from Diamond Grace, and that Thoth and I actually wrote the foreword to it as well. That the message and the energy is so potent and really, like incredible. And so I invite those of you who are feeling that leaning in or that yes to grab the book, The Return to Radiance, and to unlock the restorative superpowers of Diamond Grace, because within the book as well, there's a lot about, and that's also where I see when you have a body of work that you're bringing forward, it's a continuation, that you work a lot with Anna and the beings of light and love that have a lot to do with rejuvenation, regeneration, youthing, radiant beauty. And so there's there's a lot, a lot in there. And I know, for example, one of the ways that I used it, and this is, you know, what I mean also about the simultaneity of gifting, receiving, and having is like you're officially a client, right? And I'm in that mentor role, but we're really partnering. And there is that new paradigm where as I am giving, you're receiving, as you're receiving and giving, like it just all happens. And I remember when I was hiking the Camino and my body was just like, you know, what are you doing? This, like everything hurts. And I was just calling upon the restorative powers of Diamond Grace was one of the ways that I've used, you know, some of the messages and the information in the book. So as much as I know that you're, you know, so grateful for the contribution that I and the council have had in your life, I'm also just so grateful to the contribution that you and Diamond Grace has had in my life and the ripple effect, right? Because we come together on purpose. We have divine appointments. Okay, so grab the book, Return to Radiance, and let's bring in the council and see what wants to come forward. And so as Terri and I are connecting with the guides, inviting each of you to really be connecting with your own superpowers. Hello, dear ones. This is Thoth with the Magdalene midwives, past, present, and future, moving more into the forefront of this divine transmission. And as the conversation has already begun about impeccable self-care and really superpowers, we would go a little bit more deeply into that as it comes to the wave of spiritual leadership, or what the new ways of being, the new paradigm of mission or business or career, for that is one of the primary messages of being someone who is radiant, someone who is deeply nourished and contributing from a place of overflow. And so, Diamond Grace, as you step forward, what would you share about the role of impeccable self-care and having the space to access one's superpowers?
Well, we would speak about the role of self-care as being a pathway to enlighten yourself from within. And we mean by removing the burdens of everyday life, removing the overlays of emotional traumas in your past human embodiments, in your current human experiences from childbirth on, to really bring clarity within your biological structure. For these traumas can create density in your auric field and also within the tissues of your body. And if you can bring in self-love and just start to express that frequency of appreciation for yourself, and to let the cells of your body know that they are important, that they are worthy of experiencing love and nourishment from yourself. And we would also add that self-care can be that you allow the time to have massages or seeing practitioners that can perhaps help realign your physical structure, or to do yoga or Pilates, things to align your physical structural alignment can also help you bring in more light into your central column, to not be pinching off your nerves or your blood flow. For this is where divine frequency and liquid light can flow into and around your physical body. And this in itself is already a process of rejuvenation by bringing fresh oxygen and light, and just joy within is a frequency and vibration that creates an expression through your face and your eyes that is already of youthful radiance, without doing anything more, without bringing in any more spiritual frequencies and vibrations. It is what's available to you on earth. And then as you do that, you create more space for more frequencies and vibrations as you desire to internalize and embody.
Mm. And as you're sharing that there's this message to the cells in the body that you're important, we would also highlight that message that each of your missions and contributions and unique superpowers are important, and that it really is an act of love, an act of self-care to have that mission, as was modeled in Terri's journey, be a priority. For we know that those that are tuning in here with us on the Seven Figure Spiritual Leader, and that we partner with in Divine Transmissions, that you're on the leading wave of consciousness, that you carry unique frequencies and modalities that haven't existed on the Earth star thus far, and to give them space to have that act of love where you're moving forward with them, also in a way where you're buoyed and overflowing and resplendent with energy. For there's also a vibrational match between what you have to share with the world and your state of being. This is one of the disconnects in the old paradigm that we also see that Diamond Grace helps to bring back into alignment, which is that there may have been this idea of work or mission that was very much tied into going through the motions. So, Diamond Grace, is there more that you would share about the joy and living a joy-filled life? And we know we're talking about superpowers in kind of a different way, like multiple ways. We're talking about superpowers as it relates to the restorative superpowers of Diamond Grace in general. We're also talking about superpowers as it relates to each of your gifts and superpowers and talents, like your purpose. And so would you share about the joy-filledness as it relates to being on mission, being in one's superpowers, being on purpose?
When you tap into your unique divine design, which is, it's innate within your physical body, and when you connect to that light and that radiance within, it just starts to expand and express. And it may be something like becoming an artist or a singer or playing music or writing or cooking or whatever. When you start to express what it is that is your divine uniqueness, what is your divine purpose, why you incarnated on the Earth star, it's a game changer in your earthly experience to express what it is that you came here to do, what it is that is in your wheelhouse, your star family, soul group, whatever it is, that connection. You just expressing and creating from this place that is just natural. It's not complicated. It just is. And there isn't any push-pull. There's no roadblocks. It just flows. And it's just a beautiful place to experience. And it's a beautiful place for people in your life to witness and to be a part of that journey, to see you in your full radiant adeptness. What it is that you know and that you can create and bring is the greatest gift to those on this Earth star.
We're taking a moment to really hold space for the energy transmission that's a part of this podcast, for you to be having the opportunity to leave this podcast with a renewal, with a rejuvenation, with a regeneration, with a transformation of some of those roadblocks of I don't have enough time, or I'm too busy, or am I making this up, or whatever those may seem to be there, to be in this state where there is that it's just natural. So how much energy is it taking to actually be out of that state of alignment? And what if you could pour that energy back into actually having the oars rowing in the same direction of being in the space of your superpower? And so as we're offering some space and some integrating energies, is there more that you would say about the joy of a meaningful, purposeful life?
Yeah, I would say that when you find your superpower, your life's expression, your passion, it's just, it fills your time and your daily activities with just so much joy and love that nothing feels like a task. Nothing feels like I have to just because. Nothing feels like a caustic experience. That is just goes away. You're attracting like-minded people. You're attracting opportunities. You're becoming a divine match for that which is your soul's expression. And it's just, like as Terry's looking out and just seeing the beauty of the scenery and the nature, it's like I attracted that. I wanted to have that, and it just is. And it's so sublime. It's just a splendid way of living instead of having all these regrets and wish you didn't have to's and how can I get through the days? Like, those no longer exist. That's just not part of your soul's expression. And I keep saying that word, but that just seems to be the one vibration, the frequency match that is part of this particular podcast. So we encourage you to seek that. We encourage you to go after that which is knocking on the door, what is your heart's desire, to pick up paints, to go to the store and find writing utensils, or get a new computer or a microphone, or whatever it is that somehow you innately feel is something fun. We encourage you to seek what is fun, and we suspect that that will lead to abundant life of whatever that looks like, whether that's love or joy or money or travel. We see so much potential in your life if you just listen internally and go after that joy.
Beautiful. And so as we're wrapping up here, is there a final message that you, Diamond Grace, would share?
We are grateful for the opportunity to express our frequencies and our words with you today. And we invite you to take your journey with grace and ease, abundance, and to allow the frequencies and vibrations of this podcast to settle in and emanate within over the next few hours, for this was so extremely potent and yet subtle, so that it could be an easeful transition or an easeful transformation into a state of grace.
Beautiful. And we are extending love and appreciation to Diamond Grace, to Terri, to you as the spiritual leader on the leading wave. We know that there was much here to inspire you to move forward with your own reclamation of your superpowers and to engage in the act of self-love, of taking impeccable care of yourself and having your mission, your message be a priority. All is light and love, and we are all. Well, thanks, Terri. Always a joy and a blessing. So excited about your book coming out, and really encouraging everyone who's feeling the vibes to check out Return to Radiance by Terri Gervais on Amazon.com. Thanks, Terri.
Thank you.
So much love.
Thank you.